A lot of people are talking about Old Overholt 10 maybe being the rye of the year. Is this just your standard cocktail rye on steroids, or is it something special? Watch the episode and find out.
All right, well, we have been blessed with this bottle of Old Overholt.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's a hard...
It is. It's Old Overholt.
It's
There's a lot of O's.
My mouth doesn't want to do it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all. But this is a quintessential, like, rye typically. Typically, it's like, entry level.
Right. I mean, almost every cocktail bar that my wife and I go to, I mean, I pretty much always order a bourbon or a rye cocktail. And when I ask them the rye that they're using, 7 to 8 times out of 10, it's Old Overholt.
Because it is a workhorse. It is. It's typically low price.
Yep.
It's a solid whiskey.
Yep.
And it goes well in a cocktail. And it's great for the bars because they have great margins on those cocktails and all that stuff. So when I found out there was a 10-year, I got a little bit excited.
Yeah, as did I. And luckily, I've got some good friends that, look out for me and this channel. And, they sent me a couple texts and said, hey, I found one. And I said, yep, grab and pick it up. And here we are. So,
yeah. So the reason why I'm excited is because years ago, this is made by Jim Beam Distillery.
Which I love Jim Beam.
Okay. The SKU is obviously Old Overholt. The age is 10 years age stated. The proof on this one is 121. So 121 proof. What was the SRP on this?
I want to say, I think one of the stores was like $95, $99, and then I think it's like $99.99. So it's $100.
It's like $100,
which is right on par with what I'm willing to pay.
Is it a 750?
It's a $750.
$750. So they didn't.
I think this is actually the same bottle as the old Granddad one.
I believe that it is.
It looks exactly.
I believe that it is. Yeah, and so the reason why this was exciting to me is because years ago, the Jim Beam Distillery released what is now known to be one of the most epic ryes that have ever been released.
The Booker's.
Yeah,
And easy on secondary for that.
Yeah. A good friend of mine called me, and he had a great relationship with the store. Now, keep in mind, I think this is like 2016-ish.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Something like that. So all of you knuckleheads had not gotten into the game yet. And so it wasn't as hard to find things back then, but it was still hard, and you had your network of friends. And my buddy had formed a relationship, and he called me, and he's like, hey, I have the opportunity to buy a whole case of Booker's Rye, but they're expensive. They were like $2.99 on release.
Yeah.
Okay. And in 2016,
there's a lot.
$2.99 for an unknown product that had never been released before from Jim Beam.
Yeah.
Everybody is like, have you lost your freaking mind?
Right. But no,
and so I did a little bit of research for him, and I got back to him, and I said, you know what? You should do it. He goes, do you want one? And I said, I just told this man that he should do it. So how can I say no when he asked me if I want one? And so I said yes. And a couple days later, he reached out to me, and he was like, hey, they didn't have a whole case, and I offered them to multiple people. And so he's like, I'll fulfill you first. But if you're not sure that you want it, it would help me out if you let me get it back.
One of the worst decisions you ever made.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's $300. I'm a realtor. It's winter.
Yeah.
It's just slow. And so I let him have it back, and I did not buy it. But Jim Beam only has one rye mash bill.
Okay. So this is essentially.
This is as close as you can get
to that Booker's.
To the Booker's rye, because Booker's was.
I think it was a 13-year-old.
We think it was 13.
I think it was 13 years old.
This is 10 years, and they do cask strength versions of Knob Creek rye.
Sure.
But they're not anywhere near that age statement.
So, but that would still be the same juice.
It's the same juice, right? Okay. But, I mean, if you want to replicate an experience, you need the same juice, you need the same age. Honestly, you need the same areas of aging warehouse and all that stuff. Sure. But we're getting as close as we can, and this is as close as you can get to a Booker's Rye in our modern times.
Yeah.
And at $100, it's like I don't know how much Booker's Rye is on the secondary now.
Probably 10 times at
Yeah,
minimum that.
It's at
don't
least
know.
10 times
I'm not looking for
what I
Booker's
passed
Rye,
on.
but-
Yeah, so
So I'll tell you this immediately. So we spent Christmas in Manhattan, and we went to a really nice Italian restaurant, and I ordered my favorite. Well, I've got two favorite desserts, but one of my favorite desserts was creme brulee. And to me, this is jumping off of the nose of creamy burnt sugar.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All day, every day, there is a creamy caramelized sugar note.
Yeah.
On the nose.
And it's not quite a brown sugar.
No, it's not that dark of a flavor. If that
No,
makes sense.
but it's not. I always think of a lot of times I'll get like confectioner sugar, which is like way on one side.
Yeah,
And then there's like the brown sugar, which is on the other side. And this is kind of just like a caramelized. But there's a creaminess to it.
yeah.
And along with a lot of the standard rye, I'm getting a little bit of slight amount of mintiness to it. But I think this is a lower mash bill.
Yeah, I think this is
lower
a Kentucky style rye that's going to be closer to 51% rye. Jim Beam doesn't disclose the mash bill on any other products, but
I mean, it's there.
you can tell it's got some rye spice to it. But this would be a bourbon drinker.
Oh yeah.
I feel yeah.
Mm.
But there's a little bit of mint on the nose, but mostly that sweet creme brulee flavor.
Mm. Yeah, it carries over onto the palate for sure.
For sure.
And then so on the palate, I am getting a little bit more of the kind of confectioner sugar sweetness too.
Yeah. I am getting a hair of high age barrel char. Just a hair.
Yeah, okay.
It's not it's not like something extreme like IW Harbor 15 or even Weller 12
Yeah.
or Elijah Craig 18 where all I'm tasting is barrel char. It's not like that.
Well, I don't really ever get a ton of I've never seen like a really high. Well, Saz 18 is about the only one that I've ever really seen, but you don't see a lot of really high aged ryes,
Right.
and I don't really ever get a ton of barrel on even like Kentucky Owls or like the Parker's Heritage that we tried. I think it's very well integrated.
Yeah. No, it's balanced, but you can tell that it's got a little bit of age on it. I don't think that you're going to suspect that this is, in the same wheelhouse as
No, I think the complexity of it is definitely there, and the finish is fantastic. It's still going.
I think Knob Creek's rye, which is the same liquid,
Okay.
and the same barrels, everything it should be the same except for the age. I think they're typically a few years younger than this.
Okay.
And I think that with the integration of that barrel flavor on this, you can tell it's got a little bit of age to it.
Yeah. No, I think it's fantastic.
But not in a way that's bad.
I mean, I've had a couple of really good ryes this year. I think that this would definitely be appropriate to put in the mix for a Rye of the Year contender.
I think so. How would you rate it?
Probably like 92.
Okay.
93. I mean, I really enjoy
You really
this.
love this.
I really like this rye a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
But again, it's not as... What I think is probably going to win my Rye of the Year is the Jack Daniels. Just their normal release, single barrel proof. I think is a 70% rye. So I'm not a massive fan of the 95.5 ryes. So for me, this is kind of up my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I'm gonna go a little lower.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go 89.
Oh.
Okay. I'm not gonna put it in the 90s.
So do you think it should be contender even?
Here's what we're gonna do.
It'd be fun to blind it.
We're gonna blind this with our Rye of the Year contenders.
Okay.
And I hope that I pick this one. I hope I turn out to be a fool.
It's gonna be a tough one.
But while I do like this flavor, my initial impression is not as shocking as my impression when I had Thomas Andy or Porter Heritage or even the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye.
Man, I'm telling you, especially the one bottle, which is it's hard with the single barrels.
Yeah, they're single barrels, so there's
That
some
one
areas
that I've
there.
got at the house, I'm telling you, man, that thing is magical. So
I made
that one. Okay.
All right, so buy or pass?
At $100, buy all day. and back it up.
Yeah, I'm still a buy.
Yeah,
I
definitely bought that bottle. So
yeah, I'm not going to. I'd maybe buy one in a backup, but this would be one like I wouldn't hoard it or anything like that.
No, I mean I wouldn't hoard it. I mean I think it's a great bottle. I think it's cool because it's not something that you've seen every day. I don't think that a 10-year-old rye, first off to begin with, is not something
common,
that you're going to see every day. So I mean I definitely think it's a special pour. But yeah, I think if you find a bottle on the shelf, which I think I've heard that this should be fairly available. I mean I don't think it's going to be like widely available, but I think that if you're looking for it, you should be able to find
like an ECBP level or something.
Yeah, something where it's like if you're looking for it, it's going to be there.
Yeah,
now, whether or not your stores are going to try to allocate it, or not, that's kind of on your.
That's up to you and your relationships. All right, let's give some whiskey away.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so what I thought I'd do is to create a sample pack, and this is going to teach you about age because this is a Knob Creek single barrel that I picked. The proof on this is 115, and the proof on this was 121. So they're not super different from one another. And these should be the same liquid.
But we said this is a 6-year-old?
But this one was barreled in January of 14, and it was dumped March of 2020.
Just over 6 years.
Just over 6 years. So this is 6 years. This one's 10. Same liquid. We're going to send out a sample pack absolutely for free. The way you are going to enter to win that is you're going to like this video. You're going to subscribe to the channel. You're going to ring the bell. That's going to notify you of future content and future giveaways. And you are going to comment down below. And most importantly, you are going to go to the video description, and there's going to be a link in there for you to click and enter your contact information so that I can randomize the names. And when I find the winner, I will reach out to you and I will ship those samples to you absolutely for free. So hopefully you enjoyed this content.
Yeah.
And hopefully you want to support the channel. And if you do, we have several ways you can do that. The easiest way is through Patreon. We have a Patreon account called Bourbon Real Talk Plus. You cannot search for us on Patreon because we talk about alcohol and they don't allow us to come up and search. So you have to click the link in the video description. We have a lot of member benefits. It's not just about a monthly donation. We have single barrel selections. We do a really awesome thing where we go to distilleries and they let us take over for the day. We taste out of barrels. We usually pick a barrel. Sometimes we bring in food, have a really good time there. We have virtual online bottle shares where we get together online every single month. There's lots of bonus content that we release. You get huge discounts on merch. And speaking of merch, the other way you can support the channel is to go over to bourbonrealtalk.com and look for some merchandise. And we have all kinds of products there, including custom glassware, bottle bags so that you can travel with your bottles and keep them safe. We've got travel cases to keep your glasses from breaking in travel. We've got all kinds of things, including a sensory kit to train your palate. If you go over there and you can't find something you want as a whiskey lover, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff. And this channel's been subsidized by my real estate business since its founding. I'm also a real estate agent, and you can support this channel by hiring me if you need residential real estate services in the Dallas or Houston metro area. And just so you know, I give away epic bottles as closing gifts. I'm talking on the order of Van Winkles, B-Tax, and that type of thing.
The hard stuff.
The hard to find stuff, yeah. So, Aaron and I know each other through real estate. And you can show Aaron a little bit of love.
Yeah.
How would they do that?
So if you're looking for a home, obviously contact Randy, but I'm also a lender. I work as a broker, and I primarily operate in Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, and Colorado. So 2024, hopefully we're about to see a little bit of relief in interest rates. So it's a good time to get out there and look at properties. And if you're interested in shopping and trying to find a competitive option, I think my link is down below for pre-qualified. So click that, and I'll get back with you on that.
Yep, and not only can you get a low rate, but you'll get excellent customer service, or Aaron would not be my lender. Because as a real estate agent, I'm kind of a bad and I get to choose whatever lender I want to do business with. And I found Aaron in 2014, and he has never failed me.
Never.
All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. We end every episode the same way, and that's this. If you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loves you, just know
We love you.
we love you. We'll see you next time on Bourbon Talk. Cheers.